Good afternoon. My name is Harold O'Grady. I'm one of the reference librarians here at Brooklyn Law School Library, and I am the library liaison to the Brooklyn Journal of Corporate, Commercial, and Financial Law. I'm so glad for your editor to allow me to do a presentation today by videotape so that I can introduce you to some library resources that will help you in your task of doing some site checking, topic development, and other material. So first of all, I should say welcome, and I'm sure you're going to have a good experience with the board, and I just want you to know that I'm available throughout the year. If you have any questions, I'm glad to talk to you one-on-one. So let's get into a videotape, which I'll start right now.
The first part of our video will focus on source checking. You'll see on this slide the type of materials that you'll need to source check from journal articles, books, cases, etc. And all of these are generally in PDF forms. Let's go through these items one at a time. First, we'll start with books using a sample search of The Big Short by Michael Lewis. That's governed by Rule 15. If you needed to find that book, you would use the Sarah catalog, a screenshot of which is shown here, containing the URL at the top. On the left-hand side of the Sarah page, you'll see some useful links, particularly the how to use Sarah. There are some videotapes in there which you might want to look at to show you how to create lists, create tags, and basically save your searches. In order to do that, you'll have to log into your account using your Pharos ID credentials, which are displayed on the right-hand side of the page. Next, we'll look at journal articles governed by Rule 16 of the Blue Book. Let's use this sample search of Marion Baer's article confronting the two faces of corporate fraud with the citation at the Florida Law Review. So how would you find that in PDF? You could search the Sarah catalog. However, you wouldn't be searching the catalog using the title of the article, but rather the title of the journal, in this case the Florida Law Review. You might also want to use the One Search feature, which is on the library homepage, the URL of which is displayed here. You'll see I've entered the title of the article, Confronting the Two Faces of Corporate Fraud, in One Search. I've run a search, and I've come up with two results, both of which would connect you to full text. Item number 2 connects you to the Hein Online version. Hein Online is an excellent resource for you to find some articles in PDF format, as it is a repository for journal articles from the full range, from the very beginning until most recently. And next, we'll look at cases governed by Blue Book Rule 10. The sample search is Morrison versus National Australia Bank, U.S. Supreme Court case from 2010 with the citation here. Hein Online is also a great place to find PDF versions of case law, so you want to consult that library as well. You can also use Westlaw, where you can plug in the citation and look at the original image of the PDF version that's linked on the upper left-hand corner of the page. Next, we'll look at statutes and regulations. These two areas are very important for members of the Corporate Law Journal, and they are governed by Blue Book Rule 12 and Blue Book Rule 14. I put some sample searches in here of a U.S. Code citation and of a citation from the Code of Federal Regulations. Hein Online, again, is an extremely important place to find access to PDF versions of sections of the U.S. Code, and you should familiarize yourself with that library as well. Next, we'll look at the GPO free government website, published by the United States government. You'll see on the top of the page a URL, and on the right hand side you'll see a list of libraries including the Code of Federal Regulations, Congressional Bills and Hearings, Federal Register, and United States Code, as well as United States Court Opinion sections. PDFs are all available in this website. Next, we'll look at congressional documents which go into the legislative history related to bills enacted by Congress that became law. So here we have a sample search to a House report related to the Dodd-Frank Act. You'll see the citation is H Report 111-517, 111 being the 111th Congress in which the House report was issued, and 517 being the consecutive number of the report issued during that session of Congress. ProQuest Congressional and ProQuest Legislative Insight are useful e-resources where you can find some of these versions of House reports and other legislative history material. Here I've gone into ProQuest Congressional and I've put a bill number or a public law number. In this particular case I put in public law number 111-203. I've come up with a list of some 259 items. You'll see you can narrow the results on the right. In this case, I'm just looking for legislative history, and when I click that, I'll get a full legislative history of Public Law 111-203, which is the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform Act, and you'll scroll down through that, and you'll get a list of materials relating thereto. Statutes and court rules are also available in Westlaw and Nexus, United States Code in particular. You can look for legislative history, U.S. Code, congressional, and administrative news, which is kind of a condensed version of a legislative history that you might find some PDFs, and that can be a useful resource for you. Here, I've pulled up this conference report, 111-517, which we referred to earlier. Another open access source sponsored by the United States government is congress.gov. The welcome page is here with the URL at the top. You might want to look at the legislative process and the 9 videos which explain each of the common legislative stages. This is an important site where you can gain access to PDF versions, not only of public laws, but of legislative history material as well. You'll see here that, for example, I've put in a search for the Bill S-256, which is the Bankruptcy Abuse Prevention and Consumer Protection Act of 2005. And you'll notice it has the law, some information about the sponsor, the committee that it went to, various House reports, and the latest action. In this case, it became Public Law 109-8, and tracker information at the bottom where it shows you the bill was introduced, passed the Senate, passed the House, and ultimately became law. And there's some PDF versions available, which you can see here. Public Law 109-8 or 119 Statutes US 23, PDF version. The source is the United States government. Next, we'll go on to treaties, which are governed by Blue Book Rule 21.4. A sample search in this case is the United Nations Convention on Contract for the International Sale of Goods. I'm going to refer you to one of the guides published by the law librarians here. One, the Treaty Research Guide, authored by librarian Gene Davis. So this is an important place where you can find how to cite, how to find, and how to find some PDF versions of various treaties, whether bilateral or multilateral. So this pretty much concludes the section of the video dealing with source checking, with the exception of items that are not in the Brooklyn Law School Library collection. You'll have to consult your board members on their policy with respect to interlibrary loans. But however, you should note that Iliad is the platform that's available on the library webpage for borrowing material that you might have to access from other libraries. You'll see a first-time user link here where you'll create a username and password. You will need your Brooklyn Law School ID. It's probably best that you use a username, much like your Brooklyn Law School username, and a password that you can remember. When you click on that first-time user, you'll be able to enter some items, in this case a book. I'm looking at Feldman and Dresner's book on reverse mortgages and other traditional IPOs, which you'd be able to borrow. The point I want to talk about are proxy instructions for accessing databases off campus. You'll see the proxy instructions are listed on the SARA catalog. They're also listed on the library homepage where you can find the proxy instructions. Just click on the link that's indicated there and you'll be able to access databases that are usually IP address authenticated. Here at the law school, you'll be able to access them off campus. The next aspect that we should cover is the issue of topic selection. Of course, there are lots of news sources from which you can search and find some topics of current interest, from LexisNexis Communities to Bloomberg Law to Law 360 and to Jurist. We'll cover a few in the next few slides. But the topic selection is basically following this pattern, where you will review legal topics from various news sources at the top, search for articles and treatises that relate to it, ask for faculty members or practitioners to read a summary of your topic, then track your topic, and finally analyze the law and propose solutions to a unique problem that you've identified. Once again, you would look at SARA and other sources and find some material that related to the topic. On the library webpage, you'll see some research guides. Here are a few LibGuides created by librarians here at Brooklyn Law Library that deal with paper topic selection in international law, selecting and developing a seminar topic, some federal income tax, federal securities law, and bankruptcy research guides that may be of interest to you in creating your papers. Just going through some news sources, you can look through the New York Law Journal. Here's the URL, and you'll see the identifying credentials, refdesk at brooklaw.edu, and Geralaman, which will gain you access to most top current articles. Law.com is another great resource where you can find some current news awareness. Here is a recent screenshot. Don't forget legal blogs. Here is a list of the most popular and some by categories that are useful. And you may want to also look at the issue of topic preemption. So you want to be sure that no one else has written on your topic. How you do that is by looking at Westlaw and looking at the current index to legal periodicals, which is an index of most recent writings, scholarly articles on various topics, and the General Law Review and Journals Index, where you can see whether anyone has actually covered your area. Don't forget, you may also want to look at SSRN for more unpublished materials. Here I've looked at swaps as a possible area of interest. Some additional databases that are helpful in the issue or in the area of topic selection are BNA in Bloomberg Law, BNA Law Reports, some of them highlighted here: banking and financial, bankruptcy, corporate M&A, employee benefits, and the like. Really some great resources. Let's just highlight a few of them. You'll see that the Securities Law Daily, here's one of the most recent editions, has some interesting topics that you might be able to pick and write upon. United States Law Week is a terrific site where you can highlight key U.S. cases, statutes, regulations, and you can search for circuit split, which is always a useful and interesting area of research for note developing. Finally, don't forget Law 360, lots of great news sections here. I've just focused on securities.
Well, this brief overview hardly covers all the things that you need to know, but I hope it's instructive. I just really want to let you know that I'm available to you. I'm going to show on the screen right now my email contact, which is harold.o'grady@brooklaw.edu, and my phone number, which is 718-780-7981. I am generally at work here. 1 week I'm here from Monday to Friday, usually from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., except for Wednesday when I work late. I work from noon to 8, and I'm on the reference desk from 5 till I leave. And I'm also here on alternate Saturdays. The second week I work Monday through Saturday, so if you need to see me on Saturday, please feel free to stop by the reference desk or my office, which is on room 208 on the second floor of the library. So I hope I see you one-on-one, and I'll be glad to answer any questions individually. Thanks so much for your time today.